So now using the concept of gap, okay, using the concept of gap, what we are going to go and study now is a strategy called as the space strategy. Okay, we are going to talk about space strategy. We are going to see how to use the concept of space strategy and see how can we do this better and how can we interpret it better. Because when you're going to take understanding and when you're going to see how to define it, again we have got our philosophy. Again a check, what is our philosophy which we are going to use for every strategy? Very, very good. Awesome. Okay, so we are going to use I strategy, correct? So let's go and implement the I strategy. Identification. What is the identification? A gap up or gap down opening. All right. Today we are looking at some intraday play. We will get into some multi-day play tomorrow. All right. Now let's try and understand the intraday play. Identification, confirmation with a long body candle, which makes our job easier. And then we trade beyond the long body candle. Now, so how to deal with this? Okay. How to deal with this? You can place the stop loss. Okay. You can place the stop loss once you take the trade. There are, in the case of your risk, okay, in the case of your risk, you have got your gap up and gap down opening. All right. So you can have to place your stop loss beyond the low of the day if it is a buy trade, beyond the high of the day if it is a if it is a sell trade. Now it may so happen, okay, please pay attention. It may so happen that the gap is not very large. Okay, if the gap is not very large, you can alternatively place your stop loss even below the gap. Okay, you can place your stop loss even below the gap. Why am I saying that? Because I am giving you two options, because based on the market volatility, okay, based on the market volatility, you got to decide. If the gap is very huge, like we saw yesterday, if the gap is very huge, then there is no point in keeping the stop loss below the gap, because it will put your entire capital at risk. Now, if the gap is very small, so what do I mean by small? If it is 1% of your CMP or lesser, then it is preferable to place your stop loss below the gap. How many of you got this? Give me a thumbs up. I'll wait for this before I move ahead. First 5 minutes of the market open. First 5 minutes of the market open. Okay. First 5 minutes of the market open. The first 5 minutes always means the first 5 minutes. There is no confusion on that. First 5 minutes means 9:15 to 9:20. Okay. Now, how do we deal with this? All right. Let's check out this. So what do you see here? You see here a space down. Okay. You see here a space down. Now, in the space down, you're having the candle here. You're having the long body candle. Then you know that yes, the prices are moving down. So you enter a short trade and then you keep a stop loss above the space area. Why? Because it is not more than 1% of the CMP. And then you go in for the short trade. You have to give some room for the prices to move. Please understand, when you're trading, how many of you have got stuck because your stop loss was very tight? आपने stop loss एकदम tight रखा, stop loss trigger हो गया and वापस trade चलने लगा. But the sad part is that you are not part of that trade. So stop loss setting is never a particular figure. What is essentially stop loss? stop loss is the wrong point of your analysis. Please understand, stop loss is the wrong point of your analysis. So to ensure that your analysis is correct, do all the identification and confirmation properly, so that when you execute, your mind should not start doubting your trade. That is what happens with most of us. ट्रेड ले लिया, फिर कंटिन्यूस डाउट पे चल रहे कि ये ट्रेड सही है, गलत है, यहाँ पे कुछ करना है, यहाँ पे कुछ करना है. हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू कॉन्स्टेंटली मूव योर स्टॉप लॉस? एक स्टॉप लॉस रख दिया, फिर थोड़ी देर के बाद उसको चेंज कर दिया, ₹1 से चेंज किया, ₹2 से चेंज किया, या कभी कभी उसको सीधा आधा कर दिया. हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू डू दैट? Many of us do it. Why? Because we feel that I have to manage my trade. That is not trade management. That is not trade management. That is, to be honest, trade stupidity. Why? Because you are always concentrating on the stop loss. And if you're always going to concentrate on the stop loss, you will only get stop loss hit. क्योंकि कुछ भी काम करने के लिए कंसंट्रेशन चाहिए, और आप किस पे कंसंट्रेट कर रहे हैं? आप स्टॉप लॉस पे कंसंट्रेट कर रहे हैं, तो स्टॉप लॉस हिट होना ही है. इंस्टेड ऑफ दैट, rework the theory, rework the logic, concentrate on the process. If you concentrate on the process, automatically you will be able to see how to do the right thing from the start. So the chances of you getting a SL hit will be much, much lower. I hope I'm making sense to you, right? Now, let's see how to do this. Again, you can see here a gap up approach. You take a trade, you place a stop loss below the gap, enter the trade, and then you know that stop loss is not hit. So when you have your I and C properly, then you will never have a problem of execution. Please understand that. Please understand that, because that is very, very critical. क्योंकि आजकल बहुत लोग ट्रेड में, do you know the number of times you lose money in a trade by just entering and exiting is far more than your SL hit. How many of you agree with me? How many of you agree with me कि ये एंटर किया, अरे नहीं 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 ये ट्रेड गलत है, एग्जिट कर दिया, फिर उसके बाद नहीं 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 ये ट्रेड अच्छा था, ये ट्रेड करना था, वापस ले लिया. आपने इधर एंटर किया, इधर इधर एग्जिट किया, और बाद में इधर ट्रेड चलने लगा, आपने वापस इधर एंट्री किया. करेक्ट? तो हो रहा क्या है? यू आर नॉट क्लियर विथ व्हाट? विथ आइडेंटिफिकेशन एंड कंफर्मेशन. और उसकी वजह से आपका एग्जीक्यूशन पैची है. ओके, योर एग्जीक्यूशन इज पैची. व्हाट डज दैट मीन? That means that sometimes you get it right, sometimes you get it wrong, or rather many times you get it wrong. Why? Because you are not sure. So to reduce it, this is how you need to go. So now in this case, once you take a trade, what have I said? First 5 minutes, 5 minute wait करो, यहाँ पे एंट्री करो. फर्स्ट 5 मिनट्स के बाद आपने एंट्री किया, आपका स्टॉप लॉस तो क्लियर है. जो ट्रेड में आपको स्टॉप लॉस कंफर्टेबल है, उस ट्रेड में आप स्टॉप लॉस रखिए. अगर क्लैरिटी नहीं है तो मत रखिए. दैट्स द होल आइडिया हियर. ओके, सो यू कैन सी हियर दैट दिस इज द गैप, प्लेस द ट्रेड हियर, देन यू एंटर द ट्रेड based on this candle. Once you enter the trade based on this candle, automatically you know that the movement will happen. So once you have entered the trade, you know that the stop loss is clear, and then as you start participating in the trade, it makes your entire schedule very, very easy, right? So you enter the trade, long body candle देख लिया, फिर एंट्री होने के बाद आपको पता है कि आपका स्टॉप लॉस क्लियर है, और फिर you can book profit along the way, or you can trail your stop loss. Now again you will see here there is a gap up scenario. Gap up यानी bullishness, फिर long body candle आ गया, so automatically your job becomes easy. All the time you are talking about making your job easier. You can see here there is this space. So this is a space up strategy. Okay, this is a space up strategy. You can see here the movement continues. You can decide आपको कहां पर exit करना है, right? Moves from 333 to 347. You don't have to hold on. You can decide where you want to exit. 1% of the CMP is the mandated exit. जो भी स्ट्रेटेजी आपको पढ़ाऊंगा उसमें आप आइस फिलोसफी लगाएंगे, आपका 1% CMP बनने की बहुत ज्यादा चांसेस है. So you can see here in this, below this gap, you will place the stop loss. Again, there is a space here, space down, that was space up. How many of you are getting an idea कि ये फिलॉसफी लगाने से आपका ट्रेडिंग पैटर्न में एक इंप्रूवमेंट आएगा? हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू फील दैट? अगेन अ स्पेस अप, आई वेट for the first 5 minutes. I wait. Why do I wait? I wait so that I don't have any eagerness to just jump in. That is the reason why I wait. Why? Because if I wait, I can see what the price wants to do. Many times we are interested to participate because we want. But then what we want is not what the market is telling us. मार्केट का खुद का रूल है. मार्केट इज लाइक आइसिस. मार्केट का खुद का नियम है. इफ यू वांट टू कंप्लाई विद इट, मोस्ट वेलकम. कंप्लाई, मेक मनी एंड लीव. देयर इज नो शॉर्टेज ऑफ मनी इन द मार्केट. देयर इज ओनली शॉर्टेज ऑफ मनी विथ यू. देयर इज शॉर्टेज ऑफ two kinds of capital which I always tell everyone. One is mental capital, other is financial capital. Mental capital और financial capital दोनों की जरूरत है, without which a trader is non-existent. Now, in trading, financial capital can be obtained somehow, but mental capital is impossible to be obtained from anyone else. क्योंकि मेंटल कैपिटल जो है ना, आपको खुद जनरेट करना पड़ेगा और आपको प्रिजर्व करना पड़ेगा आपका मेंटल कैपिटल. अदरवाइज यू विल ऑलवेज फाइंड दैट वेन एवर आई एम गोइंग टू ट्रेड, मेरे प्रीवियस ट्रेड्स के भूत आ रहे हैं एंड आई एम नॉट एबल टू पार्टिसिपेट. हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू गो थ्रू दिस एक्सपीरियंस? हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू गो थ्रू दिस एक्सपीरियंस कि प्रीवियस ट्रेड्स के भूत वापस आते हैं? Many of you have made money from Adani, but now when Adani is giving you an opportunity to buy, right? You will say, last time मैंने पैसे बनाया था, ठीक है. Now I am getting another opportunity, I will buy. But there are many who have lost money in Adani. वो ही dip buy है Adani में. But those who have lost money in Adani, when Adani made a killer move, there are many people who have lost money. अब जब ये अपॉर्चुनिटी आ रहा है अदानी में बाय करने के लिए, वो बाय नहीं करेंगे. क्यों? क्योंकि प्रीवियस दे आर अ विक्टिम ऑफ देयर प्रीवियस ट्रेड. एंड दैट इज व्हाट आई एम सेइंग, दैट द मेंटल कैपिटल इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. लर्न टू प्रिजर्व इट विद द राइट काइंड ऑफ प्रोसेस. नाउ यू कैन सी हियर इन दिस टॉक, इट इज वेरी वेरी क्लियर दैट देयर इज अ movement to the downside. Now you can see again in this example, आपको दिख रहा है कि एक clearly going up. If the stop loss is right, that is where the identification and confirmation. Okay, that is where the identification and confirmation will help. Now, how to develop that identification and confirmation? By continuously checking out these trades. When a trade comes, learn to apply the identification and confirmation. Many of you would have heard the concept of identification and confirmation probably for the first time. You may be doing it partly, but when you start doing this diligently, you will get the right kind of stocks. You will be able to select stocks with a much better accuracy, right? That is the whole idea of this workshop. How to give you the right kind of accuracy which you have been seeking for. Again, you can see here. Now you have a sharp move. Okay, you have a sharp move. It sustains, gives you your 1%. Again, you can see here there is a sharp move. Now, this is an example which I have intentionally taken because I want to tell you how some kind of news flow also helps you. Like I said, there are news flows which come in, and now you can see in this counter there has been some news flow of positive results. It opened up with a strong gap. Then you see here that after sustaining, you can see that the prices have moved up. Now, when you take a look at the overall scenario, when you take a look at the overall market, when you take a look at the stock, amongst the IT stock, iske results aa gaye hain. You have to combine all these elements. See, a trader cannot work in silo. If you work like a horse, you will not get result. Okay, you have to be like a frog, jumping everywhere, finding out everything, and then do your own thing. So you should have your own process. Your eyes, your ears, everything should be open. Okay, you should be like an eagle, seeing everywhere, finding out what is happening, what news flows are coming in. Only then the rules, the process, the ICE philosophy, everything will work for you. So you can see here the reason why this stock showed a good move and reason why you could have encashed this, right? So you can encash this because पॉजिटिव न्यूज फ्लो था, गैप अप था, और उसके बाद एक लॉन्ग बॉडी कैंडल आया, आपने पार्टिसिपेट किया, यू गॉट योर 1%. ऑलराइट, नाउ लेट्स गो टू द other example. As you can see this is a stock which is moving up. Correct, this is a stock which is moving up, and morning open, okay, it opened up with a space up, long body candle, waited for the first 5 minutes, and then took this trade. Correct. Again, another example. Again, open with an upward gap, and it gave you a strong move. So now when you are going to look into certain stocks, when you're going to look at the space up, so that's when you got to understand the importance of a top down approach. We'll be discussing it again and again. I'll be demonstrating it to you as well. And that is why yesterday you will see many IT stocks worked. Why? Because the leader Infosys came out with very positive number, and many IT stocks seem to have worked. Now it may happen on some day with auto, someday it may have with capital goods. So that's how you will be able to get an idea. Markets may not be doing anything, but there will be some sector specific action. That is where you can take advantage and combine that flow with the strategy. All right. I hope all of you are clear till here and all of you have understood it. So now what I'll do is I will take up some Q&A. All of you go ahead and post it on that particular link. So let me just open up that link and let me address some Q&A before I move ahead with the other portion of today's session. So let me just take up some questions here. Okay, so yeah, so there is a question asking about outside candle. So outside candle is a different kind of pattern. It's a two candle pattern once again, where it is a reversal of bullish engulfing. So that is something which doesn't occur so frequently. So it's better that you look at bullish engulfing or bearish engulfing. But then if you want to look at an outside candle, then it's also called as a harami. So it's called as a harami pattern. Why are wicks not considered for bearish engulfing? Because wicks are what is important as part of the engulfing is the body of the candle. So a body of the candle gives you very good idea about what is the kind of participation. So if it is a small body, there is not much participation. If it is a long body, so essentially when you want to engulf, you will always be seeing that there is a long body candle. So the body is more important. All right. Now, Okay, there are a lot of questions which are going beyond the scope of the program, and I find that there are certain people who are focusing more on the content coverage. So don't worry about it. Whatever content coverage is there, it's going to happen.